Hi Pisces, I hope that everybody's doing very, very well. I was just watching something about composite charts. I know much more about synastry than I do about composite charts, so it was one of the first times that I was looking at aspects for a composite chart. When we look into composite charts, it's like if your birth chart, natal chart, and another person's natal chart had a baby, what would they make? That's what a composite chart is. And so I was reading specifically about Neptune being on the ascendant in a composite chart, and like the depth of that and being very weary of it. And it talked about there being like the most prevalent sense of illusion. And I don't know, maybe some of us are getting into looking at synastry or composite charts, maybe trying to understand the connections that we've had with people, things like that. But yeah, it was like something finally clicked that I was trying to understand, and seeing that when we talk about Neptune in synastry and also in composite charts, and I mean in general, it can be Neptune Pisces energy, it can be very elusive, and it can be something that we don't even expect it to be. There can be a lot of illusions that are tied into it, and us not being able to see beyond the surface of what we're projecting onto something. And so yeah, maybe some type of theme for someone in particular. Before we get into this, I would like to set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. I'm looking at the Three of Wands sliding off of the table here, making progress with something. Maybe even a sense of looking back and seeing how much progress you've made. With reflecting, it's like the information you find when you look within, when you reflect, when you research, when you have time alone. Understanding past connections where love feelings were expressed. There's also a sense of recounting here that I'm seeing interesting doing. It's like past people that you could have been working with, or you could have had some type of working dynamic with them, hanging out with people. It's like really understanding. I'm hearing what goes on behind the scenes. There could have been something or even past experiences that you've looked back on that you're trying to resolve or work out for yourself, trying to understand things more clearly. For some of you, there's definitely a sense of leaning on the divine to understand these connections, maybe even soul contracts for some that you're learning about. Yeah, I'm getting something deeply about soul contracts. It's like, why do I attract in this type of person? Like, what is the lesson there for me to learn? Like, why was this something that I needed to experience? Yeah, for some of you, this is straight up about a relationship. Because it's almost like in looking back at the past experiences you've had and things that you don't want to be reoccurring, it's allowing you to learn what you do want to happen in the future and kind of shift your gears in that direction so you can find harmony and balance within a relationship with someone that you're interacting with, or maybe going to be interacting with in the future. I'm hearing something about guidelines. Yeah, see? It's like this sense of nostalgia and looking back at things so you can understand where you're going now. 4:44 on the time. This is like picking through memories that you needed to learn and understand too. You know, I mentioned this in the Aquarius reading. I was getting this whole download about Pisces energy right now, the Pisces energy that we're moving through. Happy Pisces season. And it was about, in Western, it was about being able to understand things differently by understanding, like, it was very opposite from Neptune energy. It's like getting to the bottom of what things actually are at their core, and like people and energies and vibrations being revealed to you in a way where maybe they had been more elusive to you in the past, or maybe there were things that didn't click or things that you didn't understand. And now I'm getting this sense of like looking back at memories, past relationships that we've had with people, understanding what went wrong and understanding how to correct that in your present and future relationships. And knowing too that you do have control whether things repeat or not. It's just about learning the lesson so you don't have to repeat certain lessons. If there's been someone, I was getting this as well with the Neptune energy that we're experiencing. You may be having a lot of thoughts about past people, past relationships, things that when you're in a grounded state, you know you do not want to return to, but it's like you're feeling a pull to revisit these things. This is about setting boundaries to allow yourself to observe the thoughts that you're having and those emotions you're experiencing, while not actively engaging in with anyone from the past that you know it's not healthy to maintain a relationship with, someone you want to make sure you keep your boundaries intact with. I'm getting this so specifically, Pisces. It's like barricading yourself off so you're not repeating cycles with past people. And this means too, it can be past frequencies. It doesn't have to be that same exact person coming back. This is like if someone enters into your life and you start having all of these flashbacks and memories to a particular relationship that you do not want repeating. It's about heeding those intuitive messages that you're getting. Kind of like a warning energy, like, is this the past repeating itself but in a different form? Yeah, I'm seeing love and karma here. It's like making sure that you're the one that's in charge of where this ship is going in relation to who you're actively interacting with and who you need to pull back from. This is about really thinking about how you want to enter into spaces with people as well. It's like when you come out of hermit mode, like what types of relationships do you want to be participating in, and how do you create the relationship in a way where it's supportive of what you want to be manifesting. And maybe you also feel a little bit in your head about branching out as well. But I'm seeing that when you do, you're going to be feeling really happy. I'm seeing some type of reconnection. This can be with a past life soulmate for some that you're going to be reconnecting with. For some of you, it's getting together with friends. For others, it's siblings. Maybe a mix as well. But I'm seeing this notion, it's like the more you're collaborating with yourself and your spirit guides and that time that you have when you're meditating and grounding, the more you're going to be connecting with a sense of harmony and peace when it comes to, it's like the more peaceful and harmonious your internal relationship is, the more peaceful and harmonious your external relationships are going to be as well. And I'm seeing your spirit guides here sending you messages too. So the past is not repeating itself. I'm getting this notion again, having these memories and looking back at maybe a particular past relationship or like these particular experiences that you've had where things went awry. It's about setting boundaries to not be putting yourself back into that. This is like the law of attraction as well. the more you're focusing on what you don't want to happen, the more that you may subconsciously be manifesting these things. So it's like, if you're going to go back down memory lane, it's about learning what you can from that and then moving forward and not getting stuck in that space where you just feel sad and you feel like you keep thinking back to this thing and you can't move on from it. It's about really creating that space, creating those boundaries so you can separate yourself and continue moving forward here. And it's about staying true to your boundaries as well. It's like when you're of sound mind and you set boundaries, when you're feeling more heightened emotionally, it's about not taking action at those times. It's about observing your experience and waiting until you feel grounded again to then take action. And understanding understanding the limits of that, understanding your limitations, understanding how you need to protect your energy, and how you want to be using your intuition and your gifts in a way that's going to benefit you and those around you. I'm also hearing this is understanding too that in order to be your most compassionate self, you also need to be practicing boundaries too, so you're not sabotaging yourself. It's like not entering into a space where you're allowing yourself to be taken advantage of because you are not setting boundaries. This is about actively setting boundaries, because the more you're getting in touch with yourself and your emotions, the more you're going to need to develop boundaries to make sure that what you're feeling is not being crossed. It's like not allowing people to cross your boundaries and your barriers. Because when we get in touch, we're feeling everything. And so it's very important to take protective measures is what I'm hearing. Maybe you feel like there's some time that you need on your own to pull back, to really level things out for yourself as well. It's like to get your bearings here when it comes to the ways that you want to enter into your relationships. For some of you, you also don't want this, just saw 11:44 on the time, you also don't want this to affect your career too. And I'm seeing something that you're doing when it comes to yourself on the career front and exploring things. I'm hearing through that mechanism. I'm also hearing vehicle. This is the notion of inviting stability into your life and reliability. It's like by stepping into a place where you're becoming reliable and stable, you're also going to be attracting that into your life as well. So for the signs here, I'm looking at Jupiter, which is Pisces and Sag, and I'm looking at Virgo here. I'm looking at the Ace of Pentacles, and I'm looking at you popping out here. Are we having a new beginning? Something that we've been thinking about? Maybe a new opportunity that you're understanding differently as well. The more you're orienting yourself to allow yourself to perceive your reality with clarity, the easier this transition is going to be as you step into a new place. Because there may be a new beginning that you're stepping into, and you feel a bit overwhelmed or stressed by this, but by leaning on spirit and like trusting yourself within the process and taking the time that you need, it's going to ease this transition. Because it seems like this new beginning for yourself is part of karmic justice. And I'm seeing you taking a lot of time to think and sit with that. You may also be pulling back from things that you've been doing unnecessarily and maybe recognizing like what it is that you actually need to do versus what it is that you feel you need to do, but arbitrarily. It's like really getting to the bottom of that and being like, is this something I need to do that's going to benefit me, or is this something I just feel obligated to do and it's not actually helping me? And it's getting into that place of discernment for yourself. Really prioritizing your self-care as well. So you can feel happy. Also finding a sense of fulfillment in the daily tasks that you're performing as well. And making judgment calls that feel like they're in alignment with where you want to be going. Finding clarity in where you want to be going. Understanding the directions you want to be moving into. I'm getting this notion of entering into a new space and sitting with that and thinking and being like, okay, where do I want to go from here? What's going to be best for me? And because you've had that time to sit and think, things become very clear to you. And you're understanding all that it's going to take to bring you in the direction of where you want to be going, but it's worth it to you because you know you're going to find fulfillment there. And it's like you're not taking any opportunities anymore that don't feel like they're in alignment. And I'm seeing this process of discernment. I'm seeing you really gaining a lot of clarity within that for yourself. It's like being able to pick and choose the paths that you want to be walking down and feeling confident about those choices that you're making and how you want to be pursuing these new opportunities for yourself. This is also understanding as well that you are creating the reality that you want, and the more that you're taking control and taking the lead and stepping up, the more that you're in the driver's seat and really like driving down the path where you actually want to be going, rather than feeling like you have to throw your hands up and you're just going to be pushed and pulled wherever life takes you. So it's about understanding your responsibility in your collaboration with the universe, so you can go in the direction where you want. I'm looking at Neptune, I'm looking at Libra, I'm looking at Taurus, and I'm looking at Pluto here. All right, my friends, we are going to end the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.